My name is Oona Scheepers, and I'm currently one of the chief designers at Volkswagen in Wolfsburg, in Germany. Well, first of all, my husband is an absolute car fanatic. He's been that all his life, and I fought against it in the beginning, and I thought I just couldn't beat this group of enthusiasts. I thought, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And I thought, well, give it a go, have a look at some of the cars, and to my own surprise, it was very catching. And today, I'm actually the more extreme regarding cars. If you at the airport, I'll be in the magazine shops, always browsing through the latest car magazines. And my husband's now come to the point and said, does it really have to be so extreme? And I think if he thinks back of what it was when he started out, so definitely the infection came almost not willingly, it was forced onto me, and I absolutely love it. I used to, since the age of 5, I knew I was going to do something with art or design related, and I always used to walk around with a pen and draw. When I studied art here in Cape Town, and then ventured off into Europe. We were in the UK for 2 years, and then we went over to Germany. My husband started working freelance for Ford, and that was where the good luck turned into my direction. I was drawing portraits of the kids at kindergarten. One of the dads came by and he said, wow, that looks so good, so much talent, you want a job? And I said, oh, I don't have a green card, I can't work. And he said, it's not a problem, I'll sort it out for you. Wow. So I never asked what I was supposed to do. I went to the company on the Monday morning starting, and then it was automotive design, and I said, hey, I can't do that. He said, of course you can. If you can draw a face, which is one of the most difficult things to actually draw, like getting the proportions right, that's what a car is about. It's all about proportions. And this guy, Stephen Maggi, actually took me under the arms and he guided me through the whole process. And said that was 22 years ago, and I was still going strong. Not a day in my life that I regret it. It still is a man's world, but I really enjoy working in the constellation as it is. I mean, when we're out test driving the cars, for example, we could be a group of 100 people, and most times I'm the only woman there. It is definitely very, very much still a male-dominated situation. And I guess it will change in the future, but there's not that much women that will go in, because a lot of women are not that interested in cars. To actually make it through, or to make it in the automotive industry, you have to be really, really passionate about what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing. And I guess that's where the biggest problem is. There's not that many women that have that interest and really want to do something and make something out of it. But we've seen in Germany, in the engineering as well, there's a lot more female students enrolling at the moment, and also in the design there is definitely a movement that there's more females coming in, but my prognosis is it will take a good 10 years still before you're going to see women in top positions. At the beginning I thought it was impossible, but you've got such a good foundation as a graphic designer. I would actually venture out to say that you can branch out in any direction of styling, design or art, because the fundamentals of design are captured in graphic design from any aspect. If it's from the feeling of textures, colors, form, it doesn't matter what aspect, it's there. So it's actually quite a flexible base to have. And from what I had learned here at the college in Cape Town, the Cape Technicon, I was set up and going, I would say within 6 to 8 months. Nobody would have known that I wasn't in the automotive industry prior to that. Highlighted Porsche, definitely the Carrera GT. The ultimate of all sports cars, still remains that till today. And I always say it was a car that I didn't need to do much, because that car told me what it wanted of me. So I followed. It was just such a strong concept to start off with. Even if it was just a briefing in literature form, I knew exactly what I needed to do for that car. So it was a very dominating vehicle, and I just followed as a slave, and the results were perfect. The change from Porsche to Audi was a huge shock in the beginning, yes, because the world at Porsche was quite comfortable. We didn't have that many products. They were all very demanding, whatever you worked on. But moving from Porsche to Audi was a big change, because the model range exploded 10 times of what we were used to at Porsche. And also from a material aspect, Audi was extremely advanced. It was brilliant to actually see where they were, and the design strategy for Audi was very clear. You knew, regardless of it being so extremely complex, you knew exactly what you had to do for which cars. And then it was the first time that I actually met Dr. Winterkorn as well, which now is the leader CEO for 10 brands, which encompasses Audi, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Seat, Skoda. We have the utility vehicles, Volkswagen, Porsche is we've just purchased. Actually, the sale hasn't gone through 100%, so we don't officially put that onto any paperwork yet. Winterkorn is actually in charge of all those brands, and that was one of the most amazing things for me. The move from Audi or from Porsche to Audi was the encounter with this person. Relatively short time after I met him, I know exactly what is required of me. He doesn't have to talk or say much. He will just look at something, he'll call me and he'll point at it, and as soon as he does it, okay, I know, I'll fix it. So it works quite well. I think that is why you really need a strong leader. A strong captain of a ship would be our Walter de Silva. It's his key and major issue to actually make clear that all of us understand exactly what our DNA is, where do we come from. He makes us understand what the core values of the company is, so that we know in which design direction we have to actually march. If this is not clear, I guess, yeah, you could become, sometimes not be sure what you're drawing or what you're designing anymore. But that's the secret definitely is, before anybody puts a pen to paper, they have to know what is expected of them. Most important is actually the seagulls in the background give a good hint of which way it's going, bird's eye perspective. Look at it from far first before you start zooming and honing in onto the different countries. That definitely is the key. And then respect each culture. And to respect the culture, you really have to look into the countries and get a feeling of what it stands for. Look at the core values and elements, because you might, with something that you feel comfortable with coming from your country, you might be very offensive in another country. And that was the exciting part for me, was actually exploring these different cultures. And then you have to be very open-minded. Let things come to you instead of you trying to force things onto other people. Especially in the field where I'm active, and that is working out color programs for the different brands and the different cars. And I mean, I just noticed it again coming into South Africa. If you're up in the sky in Johannesburg, the aeroplane is just coming down, you already notice there's something totally different about this country in the treatment and perception of color and the use of color as well. And this is where we've got local productions. Why can we not work closer to the market or with the markets, give them what they want? We are not changing the corporate identity, because the formal design stays the same. But if the South Africans want more color on their cars, give it to them. Yeah. Up till now, the strategy has been basically Wolfsburg grey, the whole world, take it or leave it. And I'm starting to change that, and it's really working well in Mexico, in Brazil as well. I always like to, there's a parallel running between Mexico, Brazil and South Africa. Happy sunshine people, they like color, they're bold with color. So we're starting to try and accommodate the markets more in that direction. You are never out of duty as a designer. It doesn't matter where you are, what time of the day, even in your sleep, you are always active, thinking, working on new ideas. I never go to bed without a drawing pad right next to my bed, because right in the middle of the night you wake up all of a sudden and it's just something you've got to capture right there and then. What is nice is that you still wake up. If you sleep through it in the morning, you've forgotten what you've dreamt about. But you get your inspiration from everything that surrounds you. It actually, here in South Africa, it starts just with the lighting. I don't know if many South Africans are aware of it. You've got an absolutely unique lighting situation here. If you look at anything, I mean, looking out onto the harbour right now, but it looks like everything is seen through a polarized filter. It is so clear and so well defined. The colours are much more brilliant here. You don't have that in Europe. Maybe once or twice in the year there'll be a very specific day where you can draw a parallel with the lighting conditions you have here in South Africa. And I think one of the strongest things in South Africa is design and the way they actually approach it. Because a lot of the designs, their strongest points were using creativity to its maximum without actually being very expensive or using expensive materials. So that was a really, really big surprise. And that was the core message of Design Indaba, making a better world through creativity. And first of all, you don't really think, what does it really mean? Through Design Indaba, it became very apparent, and it's actually very easy. And through creativity, you can make the world a better place. So yeah, that worked really well for me. It was eye-opener. The biggest change, again moving from Porsche to Audi to Volkswagen, was actually the global involvement of Volkswagen. That is really mind-blowing. When you look into it, you see where Volkswagen is situated. We've got factories in Mexico, in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, in South Africa, in China we've got 2, India, Russia. We're starting one up in Chattanooga in the USA.
Wow.
And all of these plants actually have design studios, and I look after all the issues regarding materials and colors and trim for the global strategy. And this is extremely exciting. I love the different cultures, working with the local designers. By far at the moment, the Brazilians, brilliant, really good. Sustainability can have very different aspects. I mean, the first thing we always think about is the carbon footprint, obviously, and then we think of engines, but it doesn't have to be resolved if you look at a car just to those aspects. One of the key strategies, especially with the new Polo design as it is, it's a very, very clear direction and a very clean design, which makes the car timeless. And that's also sustainable, because it's not a fashion object that in 2 or 3 years you want to get rid of it. So people will actually, they'll be proud of their cars in 5 years' time as well. It's a different aspect of sustainability. We've been looking at, obviously, surface materials. The key again here, put the carbon footprint way down, is to look at how these things are manufactured. We're in touch with a company called Bridge of Weir. It's a leather manufacturer in Scotland. And they're actually the first company that's made a closed loop of just a manufacture process to make it sustainable. When you get the first leather hides into the factory, they have to defat them or take the inside of the skin. It's all got to be taken away. It's a messy job. It's smelly. It's horrible. But it has a lot of oil in it, and they're using this as part of their manufacturing process to regenerate energy for the rest of the tanning process. Something that's actually quite basic, but nobody's really done it before. So the water that they actually use in the process of tanning the leather is cleaner at the end of the day than it was when they started off with. So we're doing a lot of that. When we evaluate supplies, we specifically, as a global company, look at what we are purchasing from them to make sure that the environment has been taken into consideration. The new Polo that we're just launching now is actually my very, very first Volkswagen that I've designed. I was involved on the Golf 6 and the Scirocco, but not 100%. This is my first 100% VW. The best thing is actually at international automotive shows, or even in normal dealer showrooms, I like to go in there and just lurk in the background and see what customers actually really say about the product. And you get a really true feedback that way. If you talk to a lot of people, they're going to try and be polite about certain aspects, but the best reward for a designer is when your product is being launched and you can actually in the background perceive if that product is being accepted or not. And that's why I'm actually really excited about the Polo right now here in South Africa. Tonight I'll get the first feedback from the press, but I haven't actually been, in this instance, been able to play spy. I would have liked to just been a little bit more in the background just to get the honest opinion. But I know it will be fine here because it was launched in Europe in June already, and we've had an absolute amazing response.